Batman stands on a Gotham rooftop in the rain and watches 3 news feeds at once, all showing dead civilians after metahuman fights. He has tracked the source to a strange blue energy spike off-world, tied to a new kind of superhuman drug that never came from his Earth. Bruce Wayne builds a compact phase bridge in the cave, wired into Motherbox tech and Justice League scans, to follow that spike to its source and shut it down. Alfred warns him that the device will tear at his body and mind, and that there may be no clear way back. But Batman steps into the ring of light without a word. The bridge fires, the cave rips sideways, and Batman feels his suit scream as reality twists and throws him into another universe. While something inside the device breaks, he wakes on cold metal, upside down. The world spins. Red and blue lights flash through the smoke. Batman hangs in the ruined cockpit of the Batwing. The ship lies wedged between 2 glass towers over a crowded city street. Flames crawl along the wing. Alarms speak in a flat voice in his cowl. "Status," he says. Suit systems are at 70%. Shields are low. The phase bridge core is cracked and fused into the power grid. The HUD tags street signs, Times Square, New York, but the logos are wrong. A huge screen shows a smiling blonde man in a cape, hands on hips, with the word Vought glowing behind him. Homelander. The name means nothing to Bruce, but the crowd screams for him like a god. A burning panel drops beside his head. Batman cuts the belt, drops to the floor, and kicks the cockpit open with one sharp blow. The canopy shatters, glass spraying out into the night. He fires a grapnel line into the tower, pulls himself out of the wreck, and swings down toward the street as the Batwing groans and shifts. Below, chaos, smoke thick, cars on fire. A black Vought armored truck lies on its side, its rear doors blown out. Blue liquid leaks from broken steel cases and steams on the asphalt. People cough and stumble away, phones up, always recording. Batman lands beside a crying child trapped under fallen debris. He lifts the slab with a grunt, moves it just enough, and pulls the boy clear. "Run," he says. The boy stares at the bat symbol on his chest. "You a soup?" the boy whispers. "No." Batman pushes him toward the sidewalk. "Go." A man in a bright costume sprints into view, faster than any car. It is A-Train. His blue suit is slick with some other man's blood. He skids to a halt near the wrecked truck, eyes wide. "What the hell is this?" A-Train says. His gaze jumps from the crashed Vought truck to the broken Batwing high above, then to Batman. Batman steps between him and the leaking cases. What was in that truck? "Hey, back off, Halloween freak," A-Train snaps. He smirks for the cameras. "Let the 7 handle this." He moves, a blur, but Batman is already in motion. He throws a flash pellet at A-Train's feet. Light and sound slam the speedster. A-Train stumbles, hands to his eyes. Batman swings low and drives a boot into A-Train's knee. There is a crack. A-Train screams and spins out, skidding across the asphalt. People gasp. Phones zoom in. A white beam cuts through the night and slams into the side of the Batwing. The ship explodes, fire blooming across the sky. The crowd roars as Homelander floats down from above, cape snapping. His smile is wide, eyes bright. He looks like Superman drawn by someone who hates mercy. Batman looks up at him, face blank behind white lenses. Homelander lands lightly beside A-Train, the shockwave knocking Batman's cape back. "You okay, buddy?" Homelander asks A-Train, voice warm for the crowd. "My knee," A-Train gasps. "That freak..." Homelander's smile does not fade. He looks at Batman. "So, new guy. Vought did not sign off on that outfit." Batman watches him, silent. He notes the easy strength, the casual way Homelander crushed the Batwing with a single beam. He notes the lack of concern for the people still trapped in cars behind him. "Step away from the truck," Homelander says. "We'll take it from here." "The cargo is dangerous," Batman says. "Unstable." Homelander tilts his head. "Oh, you know what's dangerous." His eyes burn red for a second. "Random masked perverts hurting my teammates in front of my fans." He steps closer. His eyes narrow, trying to see through the suit. The lenses of Batman's cowl darken, a thin line of lead weave in the fabric, blocking the gaze. Homelander frowns. He is not used to being blocked. "Cute," he says, voice lower. "My name is Batman," Bruce says. "Tell me what was in that truck." Homelander smiles again, bright and fake. "Show's over, folks," he calls to the crowd. "We'll take care of this." Camera drones hum closer. Batman glances at the leaking cases. Blue liquid runs toward a storm drain. He tosses a cluster of mini-drones from his belt. They unfold mid-air and drop a thin foam seal around the main spill, slowing it. Homelander's smile tightens. "You don't touch Vought property without permission." He moves like a bullet. His hand shoots for Batman's throat. Batman fires his grapnel and lets the line pull him back. Homelander's hand closes on air. Batman flips over a burning car, lands behind it, and throws 3 smoke pellets. The street vanishes in grey. Homelander's heat vision cuts lines through the haze, wild, missing. He coughs as the smoke includes microfibers that irritate his lungs. Batman uses the cover, grabs 2 civilians, and shoves them towards safety. A woman in a white and gold costume lands nearby, glowing. Starlight. She looks around, eyes wide, trying to help people up. She sees Batman, just for a second, as he lifts a man with a broken leg into an ambulance. "You're helping," she says under her breath. "Focus on the wounded," Batman answers. His voice is dark but calm. Then he fires his grapnel again and swings up into the smoke, away from Homelander's line of fire. Homelander bursts out of the cloud, furious, searching the sky for the Batwing. He sees only fire and falling debris. Where'd he go? A-Train groans, clutching his knee. Homelander's jaw tightens. He pastes on a smile and turns to the closest camera. "Hey folks, sorry about that little scare," he says. "There was a terrorist attack on a secure Vought transport, but the 7 handled it. You're safe." Behind him, Batman is already gone, moving across rooftops, cataloguing every logo, every news screen, every sign that this is not his world. Codex note: Wayne's phase bridge was not built for long-term stability. Each jump tears at the user's nervous system and burns out a third of the core's remaining capacity. Up to now, Batman fell into a new universe, crossed paths with Homelander, and saw that Vought guards a deadly blue drug while civilians pay the price. He reaches the rooftop of a cheap hotel, drops into the shadows beside a humming air unit, and breathes once, slow. His heart beats too fast. There is a faint ringing in his ears from the phase bridge. He pulls a cable from his gauntlet and jacks into the city's unsecured networks. The cowl HUD fills with chatter. Vought promos, news clips, social feeds. Homelander smiles from 10 channels at once. People praise him, fear him, worship him. Clips of the fight already loop online. "Who is Batfreak?" one host shouts. "Is he with the terrorists? Is he anti-soup?" Batman scans deeper. He finds files on a substance called Compound V, a superhuman drug made by Vought. He sees pictures of dead children in hospital beds. He closes his eyes. He sees Jason. He forces the image away. "This world mass-produces monsters," he says softly. A voice crackles in his ear. "Enjoying the view, sunshine?" Batman's jaw tightens. He did not open this channel. "Who is this?" he asks. "Name's Billy Butcher," the voice drawls. "You're on my telly, dressed like a bat, kicking the crap out of soups. That makes you my type of weirdo." Batman reroutes the signal, tracks it. Old CIA encryption. Dirty, patched, but clever. "You hacked my comms," Batman says. "Nah, mate," Butcher says. "You hacked mine. Whole world's wired if you know where to stick the knife. Listen up. You want Vought gone, you call me back on this frequency. Otherwise, Homelander turns you into red mist by sunrise." The line clicks dead. Batman looks at the city. He sees Vought Tower stabbing into the clouds. He sees the faces of people below who have no idea what compound fire really is. "Alfred would tell me to find allies," he says quietly. He stores the frequency. On another floor of the city, deep in a secured bunker, Grace Mallory watches the same footage. She is older, with sharp eyes and a hard mouth. She rewinds the video of Batman taking down A-Train. "Pause there," she says. The tech stops the feed. Batman's boot is pressed into A-Train's knee, precise and brutal. "Not a soup," Mallory says. "Human, highly trained." Mother's Milk, standing beside her, folds his arms. "So now we've got a psychopath in a bat costume in the mix," he says. "Great." "Or an asset," Mallory says. "Depends on how smart he is." Frenchie leans back in his chair, eyes bright. "I like him already," he says. "Anyone who can make a god bleed is a friend of mine, no?" Kimiko says nothing. Her eyes stay on the screen as Batman pulls a child from the rubble. Somewhere else, in a high floor of Vought Tower, Homelander stands in front of a wall of screens. His cape is perfect. His hands are clenched behind his back. Ashley, the nervous CEO, stands nearby with a tablet. Her hair is thinning from stress. "So this Batman guy," Ashley says, fake cheerful. "Maybe we spin him as a new Vault hero? Dark edge, urban. Youths love that." Homelander turns his head very slowly. Ashley stops talking. "No one touches my brand," he says softly. "No one shows up in my city and makes me look weak." He walks closer to the screens, watching Batman vanish into smoke. "He blocked my vision," Homelander says. "How many people do that, Ashley?" None. None at all," she says. "Exactly," Homelander says. "So we find him. We find out who he is. And then I teach him about this world's food chain." His smile creeps back as he imagines it. Down the hall, Queen Maeve leans on a railing with a glass of whiskey. Starlight stands beside her, still in costume, hair messy from the street. "He saved people," Starlight says. Her voice is low. "He wasn't even trying to be seen. He just saved them." Maeve drinks and looks at the city. "That's what heroes used to do," she says. "Before Vought." "You think he's one of us?" Starlight asks. "No," Maeve says. "And that might be the best thing about him." Night deepens. Batman moves through alleys, over roofs, below cameras. He maps patrol routes. He draws a rough city grid in his HUD. He stops on a roof overlooking a shabby bar where 3 men in cheap knockoff soup costumes laugh too loud. One wears a fake Homelander cape. Batman listens. They talk about boosted doses, about side gigs for Vought security, about moving blue stuff. He drops down behind them without a sound. One turns and jumps. "Jesus, man," he yelps. "Who the hell are you?" Batman grabs his wrist, twists, and pins him to the wall. The others raise guns. He throws a batarang. It slices through the first gun's sight and jams the slide. He steps forward, palm strikes the second man in the throat, and sweeps his legs. They hit the ground, groaning. "What are you carrying?" Batman asks the pinned man. The man tries to spit in his face. Batman turns his head and lets it miss. He slams the man's hand into the wall just once. Bones crunch. Okay, the man gasps. Vought transport. Tomorrow. Old Doc. Big dose of V. Like, a lot. Who are you selling to? Batman asks. I don't know, the man cries. I just work the trucks, man. He believes him. Batman leaves him zip-tied to the wall with a note taped to his chest. Ask why V is in your streets. He does not expect this world's police to care, but habits are hard to break. His cowl pings. Incoming signal. Same frequency as before. You're quick, mate, Billy Butcher says when Batman accepts. I like that. Got a job for you. I do not work for murderers, Batman says. Butcher laughs. Then it's a good thing I'm a philanthropist. Listen, we're hitting that Vought dock tomorrow night. You want to punch the devil in the balls? That's your ride. What is your goal? Batman asks. To burn Vought to the ground, Butcher says. Make sure Homelander chokes on his own teeth on the way down. I don't kill, Batman says. A pause. Then Butcher snorts. Sure you don't, Sunshine, he says. Come anyway. Dock 43, midnight. Bring your toys. The line cuts. Batman stands on the roof, listening to the wind. New world, he says to himself. Same war. He sets a course for the dock. Midnight. Fog curls around the old waterfront. Rusting cranes loom over dark water. Batman crouches on a stack of containers, cloak wrapped around him. He watches the dock through night vision. Vought trucks are lined up by a warehouse, guarded by men in black armor with glowing V-patches. Drones float overhead. Security is tight, but not tight enough for someone who expects gods. Footsteps behind him. He whirls, ready to strike, but stops. A tall man with a rough beard and a long coat stands a few feet away, hands open. Billy Butcher, Mother's Milk and Frenchie are with him. Kimiko lurks in the dark, nearly silent. No heat vision, no laser eyes, Butcher says. Just a rich bloke in a bat costume. Love it. Your approach is loud, Batman says. Yeah, well, subtlety's overrated, Butcher says. This is Mother's Milk. That's Frenchie. The quiet one's Kimiko. We're the boys. We break soups. I've seen your work, Batman says. Random explosions. Bodies. We do what has to be done, Butcher says. Soups ain't people. They're weapons. You don't lecture a gun. You unload it. They're still human, Batman says. Someone made them this way. Butcher grins without humor. Someone made Homelander, he says. You want to hug him better too? Frenchie steps between them, hands raised. Maybe we all save our moral debates for after we nick the drugs, no? He says. Tonight we dance with Vought. Mother's Milk nods. We're not, here to fight each other, he says. We're here to get evidence. Then we decide what to blow up. Batman looks at the dock again. Evidence, he says. Good. Then this is my plan. He points. One hand draws silent paths through the air, marking guard rotations, blind spots, drone arcs. We move in 3 teams, Batman says. Kimiko and I will take the roof and neutralize the drone pilot. Frenchie and Mother's Milk sabotage the trucks. Butcher, you draw attention at the front gate. Oh, I like that, Butcher says. He pats the grenade launcher on his shoulder. Always wanted to be the distraction. You shoot tires, not people, Batman says. You aim away from the guards. Butcher stares at him. Mate, he says, these guards sign up to protect baby-killing monsters. Then we prove the system is guilty, Batman says. We don't kill the pawns. Butcher's jaw flexes. He looks at the V logo on the trucks, the guards with smug faces. Fine, he lies. Whatever you say, Batman. Batman knows he is lying. He files that away and moves on. They split. Batman and Kimiko climb a crane like ghosts. Kimiko moves with quiet speed, eyes locked on the warehouse roof. She nods once to him. They understand each other without words. Focus, precision. On the roof, a small control hut glows green. Inside, a bored tech watches drone feeds and scrolls on his phone. Batman slips through the vent, drops behind him, and clamps a gloved hand over his mouth. One nerve strike. The man drops, unconscious. Kimiko catches him before he hits the floor and eases him down. Batman connects a device to the drone controls. The drones drift to the far side of the dock and hover out over the water, blind to what happens behind them. Down below, Frenchie crawls under the first truck. He smiles as he places shaped charges in just the right spots to wreck engines without blowing fuel tanks. Mother's Milk covers him, watching guards move. At the gate, Butcher walks up with a duffel bag. "Oi," he shouts. "Delivery for Vault. Special fireworks." Guards raise rifles. "Back off," one yells. "This is a secure site." Butcher shrugs and drops the bag. He steps back. The bag explodes in a burst of smoke and shrieking noise. Guards flinch and fire blindly. Glass shatters. Batman uses the distraction. He drops from the roof, cape flaring, lands on a guard, and knocks him out with 2 quick blows. Kimiko tears through another, disarming him and twisting his arm until the gun falls. She does not kill. She watches Batman's eyes, and for once, chooses his way. They move like a storm, silent and sharp. Guards drop, stunned, limbs broken, but hearts beating. Batman reaches the main cargo door. He plants a compact cutting tool and slices through the lock. Inside, rows of containers filled with Compound V glow faint blue from internal lights. At the far end, a reinforced server rack hums with data. "Frenchie, I need you in the main warehouse," Batman says. "Now." Frenchie sprints in, eyes wide. "Oh, she is a beauty," he whispers, kneeling by the rack. "So much evidence, so many crimes." "Copy everything," Batman says, "then plant a trace back to Vault's core system." Frenchie plugs in his gear, fingers flying. Outside, Butcher ducks behind a crate as a guard's wild shots chew up the dock. He curses, raises his launcher, and fires a projectile at the guard's feet. It bursts in a cloud of sticky foam, pinning the guard to the ground. The man curses and thrashes. Butcher grins. "See? Non-lethal," he mutters. "Happy bats." Searchlights snap on. A helicopter thunders overhead. Batman curses under his breath. "Extraction," he says. "We're blown." "Almost there," Frenchie says. "1 more minute." They do not have a minute. The warehouse doors blast inward. A new figure strides in green and gold armor, eyes cold. Soldier Boy. "Vought said there was a party," Soldier Boy says. "Guess I'm the entertainment." He raises his glowing chest. Batman sees radiation cranking up. He remembers files about nuclear-level blasts. He also sees the lines in the armor, the weight shift in Soldier Boy's legs. He moves. Batman throws 3 batarangs. They hit Soldier Boy's shoulder joints and helmet, not to hurt, but to distract. Kimiko slams into Soldier Boy's side, knocking his aim off. The blast fires up at the ceiling instead of into Frenchie and the V-rack. Steel beams glow and sag. Kimiko flies back from the shockwave, crashing through crates. She groans, already healing. Batman rolls, comes up under Soldier Boy's guard, and drives a shock glove into the older man's ribs. Electricity arcs. Soldier Boy snarls. "Cute," he says. He backhands Batman across the room. Batman hits concrete hard. His ribs scream. Suit integrity drops another 10%. Soldier Boy steps toward him, chest charging again. Then the world goes white-green. A blast roars through the warehouse, tearing through walls, flipping trucks. Batman dives behind the server rack. It shields him from the worst of the wave but shatters around him. When the light fades, the roof has a hole. Smoke pours out. The trucks are wrecked. Most of the Compound V cases are smashed. Son of a... Butcher coughs, hauling himself up from behind a container. He looks at the ruined V. A wild smile spreads across his face. Well, that's one way to do the job. Soldier Boy stands in the middle of the wreck, chest still glowing, breathing hard. He laughs. Batman pulls himself free of the debris, teeth clenched. He checks his HUD. The phase bridge core took a surge. It now registers only one possible full-power jump left. Frenchie runs to him, clutching a data drive. "I got it," he says. "Everything on this site. Names, dates, shipments." "Move," Batman says. They retreat into the smoke as more vault reinforcements arrive. Kimiko limps, but heals as she goes. Mother's Milk helps her. Butcher covers them, firing non-lethal rounds with a grimace. They vanish into the night, leaving Vault with wrecked trucks, lost product, and a very angry Soldier Boy. The next morning, every screen in the city plays footage of burning docks and ruined trucks. Vaught's spin machine moves fast. "This was a terrorist attack on vital national assets," Ashley says at a press conference, her smile tight. "A coordinated hit by known extremists called the Boys and their new ally, an unknown masked criminal calling himself Batman." Clips show Batman hitting guards, but not the part where he saves them from Soldier Boy's blast. Clips show shattered V cases, but the word drug never appears. Homelander stands behind Ashley, arms crossed. His eyes shine with fake concern. "We will find this Batman," he says into the cameras. "We will protect you from him. That's a promise." Starlight watches from the back, jaw clenched. Maeve stands beside her. "You got your evidence?" Maeve asks. Starlight nods. "Batman and the boys got into the dock," she says. "I saw the internal alert. There was so much V, and they're calling him a terrorist." "Welcome to Vault," Maeve says. "If they can't own you, they bury you." Starlight thinks of Batman pulling that man into the ambulance, smoke all around. Her hands ball into fists. Up to now, Batman has teamed with the boys to hit a Vault dock, wrecked a major shipment of Compound V, and stolen key data. But Vault has labeled him a terrorist and begun to twist the truth around him. In a safe house, the boys and Batman crowd around a flickering TV. The news plays the Vault press conference. "They're good," Frenchie says softly. "Twist the story so fast the world's head spins." Mother's Milk shakes his head. "Whole dock gone and they still come out looking like the victims," he says. Butcher snorts. "Yeah, well, that's why we hit him again," he says. He looks at Batman. "You did good, Sunshine, for a bloke with a no-kill allergy." Batman stands apart, studying the Vault logo on the screen. "Soldier Boy," he says. "He nearly killed all of you." "We've danced before," Butcher says. "Old man's got a temper." "He's a walking bomb," Batman says. "Your methods provoke him. He will keep escalating until a city dies." Butcher steps closer. "And what do you suggest, Bats?" he asks. "Therapy? A stern talking to? Soups don't stop until they're dead." "Then we cage them," Batman says. "We expose them. We hold them to laws they can't control." "This world has no Superman," Butcher says. "We've only got monsters and the bastards who made them. Law doesn't work on gods." Batman's voice stays calm. "Then we make them bleed. In public," he says. "And we do it without becoming them." Butcher laughs once, bitter. "You don't get it," he says. You're from some shiny cartoon world where the big blue Boy Scout forgives everything. Here, if you don't put them in the ground, they come back and burn your family. He turns away before he says Becca's name. Grace Mallory steps out from a back room, cane tapping lightly. She has been listening. Enough, she says. We need both of you. We have the doc data. That means we can hit something bigger than a truck. Batman studies her. Grace Mallory, he says. Former CIA. Vought watchdog. Founder of the Boys. Mallory's lips twitch. You read fast, she says. We don't have time to explain every scar. What matters is this drive. She holds up the device Frenchie copied data onto. These files show secret Vought labs, she says. Not just here, worldwide. Black clinics where they test new versions of Compound V kids, soldiers, anyone they can get. Batman's eyes narrow behind the lenses. Labs, he repeats. He thinks of Arkham, of Blackgate, of every place where power hides behind brick. You want to free the subjects and leak the data, he says. Mallory nods. If the public sees kids in cages, even Vought spin can't bury that, she says. But we'll only get one shot. Once we move, they go to war. They already have, Batman says. He feels the ache in his chest where soldier boys blast through him. His HUD warns him again. Phase bridge core at 40%. One full jump left, maybe. Homelander will not let this stand, he says. He sees himself as king of this world. But he needs his crown, Mallory says. Vaught's money, Vaught's labs. We hit those, we cut off his food. The question is, which lab do we hit first? Frenchie taps keys, brings up a map with several glowing points. This one, Batman says, pointing at a site under the city. Underground, high-power draw, heavy security, tied to a children's hospital above. They are using the hospital as cover. Mother's Milk nods. Messy for them if it leaks, he says. Good call. Butcher smirks. Breaking into a hospital to save kids from evil scientists, he says. Look at us, Bats. Real heroes. You step out of line, Batman says quietly. You start killing doctors or guards. I stop you. Butcher stares at him. Silence stretches. Finally, Butcher shrugs. Then you'd better move fast, he says. He pats Batman on the shoulder harder than needed. Let's go be saints. The lab sits under a bright, clean children's hospital with a cartoon dolphin painted on the front. Batman and Starlight watch from a nearby rooftop. Starlight wears a hooded jacket over her suit, hair tied back, face plain. She reached out through a secure channel, breaking with Vought a little more. They'll know I'm gone soon, she says, if they check my tracker. I scrambled it for now, Batman says, but Homelander will feel it when you move against him. He already doesn't trust me, Starlight says. Her hands shake. She clenches them. Why are you helping? Batman asks. Starlight looks at the hospital. Because I used to visit kids there with the Seven, she says. Smile, take pictures, tell them they were brave. We stood right over this place, never knew what was underneath. She swallows. I can't live with that anymore. Batman nods once. Then we do this right, he says. No dead doctors, no dead kids. We get the evidence, get the children out, and we make Vought answer. Below ground, the boys wait by a service tunnel entrance. Kimiko flexes her hands. Frenchie checks charges. Mother's Milk checks his weapon. Butcher chews gum and stares at the hospital. Don't like kids, he mutters. Always break your heart. Mallory's voice crackles in their ears. You're green, she says. Batman, you're on point. Starlight runs interference topside if Vought sends soups. Extraction is 6 minutes after breach, hard cut. We stay longer, we get buried. Batman drops from the roof, cape snapping, and meets the boys at the tunnel. He places a silent breaching device on the old metal door. There is a faint click, then the latch falls apart like sand. They slip in. The tunnel smells like bleach and old water. Fluorescent lights hum overhead. A security camera turns their way. Batman fires a tiny dart from his gauntlet. It hits the camera and shorts it with a pop. Non-lethal, he says. Show off, Butcher mutters. They reach a second door with a biometric lock. Batman pulls a small pad from his belt and holds it near the lock. The device plays back recorded heat and pressure patterns from a guard they took outside the hospital earlier. The lock blinks green. Who needs laser eyes? Frenchie whispers. You are a walking crime. Inside, the lab is cold and bright. Rows of small beds line glass rooms. Children lie hooked up to IVs of blue V. Most are unconscious. Some whimper in their sleep. Mother's milk swears under his breath. Frenchie's face twists. Kimiko steps closer to the glass. Her eyes shine with rage. She remembers being in a place like this. Butcher looks at Batman. Still think they're human? He asks. Batman does not answer. He walks to the nearest glass door, pulls off the front panel, and bypasses the lock with quick hands. He steps in and kneels by a small girl with a shaved head. Her monitor shows irregular spikes. Her breathing is shallow. Batman disconnects the V-line, clamps it, and starts her on a saline drip instead. He checks her pupils. We can't move them all without support, he says. They need med teams, fast. Mallory's voice. Recording everything, she says. I've got the live feed. This goes out to every contact I have once you're clear. An alarm blares. Someone cut a camera loop, Mallory says. Vought knows. You've got company incoming. Upstairs, Starlight stands in a hallway when the lights flicker red. Guards rush past her. Lockdown sub-level 2, one shouts. Soup's in the lab. Starlight walks the other way, toward an electrical control room. A guard steps in front of her. Hey, you're supposed to be with Homelander, he says. What are you doing here? Starlight smiles sweetly, then slams him into the wall with a burst of light. He slumps, dazed but alive. She steps into the control room, grabs the main breaker for the lower levels, and channels power through her body. Lights blow, cameras fry, maglocks click open. Doors are open, she says into her comm. But they felt that. You've got minutes. In the lab, doors slide open with a hiss. Batman and the boys move fast. Mother's Milk and Frenchie lift children gently, placing them on rolling beds. Kimiko pushes 2 beds at once, teeth clenched. Butcher watches the main entrance. He hears heavy boots. He grins and shoulders his weapon. Here they come, he says. Vought security bursts in, guns leveled. Behind them, a C-list soup with metal skin steps forward, eyes glowing. Put the kids down, he says. In this world, he's called Ironclad. No, Batman says. He tosses a smoke pellet between them. The room fills with grey. Infrared vision blooms in his lenses. He moves through the haze, targets joints, nerves. He takes guns away without killing. He uses hooks and tethers to drag guards out of the way. Ironclad swings blindly, fists smashing beds and machines. Batman rams a sonic device into his ear, cranks it up. The metal skin vibrates. Ironclad screams and drops to his knees. Kimiko tackles him and chokes him out, using all her strength. He passes out, metal skin dimming. Butcher fires foam rounds at the rest of the guards' feet, sticking them in place. He hates not using lethal rounds, but Batman's presence holds him for now. Alarms get louder. Time, Mallory barks. You've got 3 minutes. Vought is sending more soups, and maybe Homelander. They push the last of the kids into the tunnel. Starlight meets them halfway, face pale from power drain. "I cut whatever signals I could," she says, "but Ashley will spin this. We need to make sure the footage hits before they do." "We will," Mallory says through comms. "Get out, now." They reach the tunnel exit as a low rumble shakes the walls. Dust falls. Batman looks up, senses the pressure. "Homelander," he says. Outside, Homelander hangs in the sky over the hospital, eyes glowing. He has seen the broken cameras. He has seen the open tunnel door. He looks down at the crowd of parents and kids gathered outside, confused and scared. "Bad people are trying to hurt you," Homelander calls. Down, voice smooth. "But I'm here. I'm your protector." His eyes track, searching for Batman. Batman pushes the last bed into a waiting ambulance truck, then slips back into the shadows under the hospital. He looks up through a grate and sees Homelander's boots hanging against the sky. He could run. Instead, he stands there for a moment, watching. Homelander's gaze sweeps past the grate. He feels something. He smiles, small and sharp. "Found you," he murmurs. Then he does not blast. He waits. Homelander understands this game now. He lets Batman go with the children for the moment, because a chase in public will let Batman look like the hero. Instead, he turns to the cameras. "These so-called heroes put sick kids at risk," he says. "They attack doctors. They sabotage vital treatments. Batman, the boys, Starlight, they're terrorists." He looks into the lens. "I will bring them to justice," he says. "Trust me." Batman hears it all in his cowl as the ambulance pulls away. "They're rewriting the story in real time," he says. "Welcome to America," Mother's Milk says. "This is what we live in." Power scaling interlude. Internal Vought Security Report, marked Project Nightfall. The subject, known as Batman, is a baseline human with peak physical conditioning, advanced combat training, and access to high-end stealth and hacking tech that blocks Homelander's vision and disrupts standard sensors. He compensates for lack of powers with careful planning, non-lethal but crippling strikes, and rapid adaptation to soup abilities. C. A-Train, Ironclad, Soldier Boy. Direct confrontation by standard soups is not recommended. Instead, recommended countermeasures include targeted PR campaigns to brand him as a child-endangering terrorist, deployment of mind-affecting soups and high-frequency sonic weapons to exploit probable human sensory limits, hostages and civilian shields to trigger his known no-kill, protect civilian bias, and if necessary, activation of Soldier Boy or Homelander in controlled zones, accepting collateral damage as an operational cost. These strategies risk increasing public sympathy for Batman if collateral is recorded, but are considered acceptable given the potential threat he poses to Vought assets and narrative control. That night, feeds across the world show shaky footage from inside the lab. Kids on drips, blue V-bags, Batman and Starlight, and the boys moving them to safety. Mallory's leak hits every independent outlet she still trusts. Vaught's lawyers flood the net with takedown notices. Big platforms wobble, then stay with Vaught's version. But enough people see the truth. Comment threads turn ugly. Some call Batman a hero. Some call him a demon. Lines draw themselves. In a cramped apartment, a teenage girl watches the footage of Batman pulling a girl from a bed. "Mom," she whispers, "he's real." Her mother pulls her away from the screen. "Turn that off," she says. "Homelander will fix it. He always does." In the safe house, the boys argue around a table. "We hit them hard," Mother's Milk says. "We got kids out. We got proof. People are talking." And now Homelander will come for everyone we care about, Butcher says. Welcome to the fun part. We can use this, Mallory says from a chair in the corner. Politicians hate bad press. We have senators who've been afraid to move against Vought. This gives them cover. Batman stands over a map of the city. He has marked Vought sites in red, boys' safe houses in blue, public protest sites in yellow. This world is split, he says. Fear on one side, anger on the other. Homelander will push that split as far as he can. He points to Vought Tower. He lives there, Batman says. As long as he stands on that height, people will believe he's in control. We have to pull him down, not just his body, his story. And how do you plan to do that without killing him? Butcher asks. You saw what he did to your ship with a look. I've taken gods down before, Batman says. There is always a weakness. Power needs something. Air, light, trust. Homelander needs love, Starlight says quietly. Or at least the feeling of it. He needs the crowd to adore him. If they don't, he breaks. Batman looks at her, thoughtful. Then that is his weak point, he says. We don't just fight him in the sky. We fight him in front of everyone. Butcher smirks. You're talking about a public showdown, he says. Big stadium fight. Lights, camera, trauma. Something like that, Batman says. He touches the side of his head as the phase bridge buzzes again. His vision blurs for a second. He sees the cave, flickering like a memory. He hears Alfred's voice. Then it is gone. Suit's glitching, Frenchie asks. The device that brought me here is unstable, Batman says. I may only have one way out left. And you're still planning our war, Butcher says. He laughs. You really are broken. I don't abandon worlds that need help, Batman says. If I leave this place with Homelander on the throne, every death after that is partly mine. Silence hangs. Mother's Milk nods slowly. Then we fight, he says. Smart, hard, no half measures. Starlight looks between Batman and Butcher. Then we need more than the boys, she says. We need someone inside Vought, someone who knows Homelander's limits. All eyes shift to Queen Maeve, who has just walked in, holding another bottle of whiskey. Don't everyone cheer at once, Maeve says. I brought the party. Queen Maeve drops the whiskey bottle on the table. It clinks against a pile of files. Everyone stares. You know where Homelander is soft, Batman says. You know where Vought hides the worst bodies. I need that. Maeve looks at him, then at Butcher. You picked up a real Boy Scout, she says. Did you tell him about the plane? Butcher's face tightens. Mother's Milk glances away. I saw a file, Batman says. An air disaster with strange gaps. Flight 37. Maeve's shoulders slump. I was there, she says. Homelander and I were supposed to save them. Vought wanted footage. It went bad. He cut the controls. We could have gotten some people out, but he didn't want witnesses. He left them to die. So did I. Her voice is flat. No drama, just fact. Batman's jaw clenches. Do you have proof? He asks. Maeve pulls a small drive from her jacket. Black box, cabin audio, everything, she says. I've kept it as a dead man's switch in case he ever turned on me. But you're right. The world needs to hear it. Someone has to show them what he really is. Butcher snorts. Well, cheers to late bravery, he says. But that won't kill him. It'll just make him angry. It changes the ground under his feet, Batman says. If people see him as a butcher, his power slips. We need that before any direct fight. And Vought, Mallory asks. You expose this and they go fully to war mode. Martial law with capes. Then we force the war into the open, Batman says. No more shadows. No more secret labs. We drag them into the light where everyone can see the blood. Maeve gives him a tired smile. You really believe people will choose right if they know the truth? She asks. I believe some will, Batman says, and that is enough to build on. Up to now, Batman has helped expose one Vought lab, rescued children, and joined forces with the boys, Starlight and Queen Maeve to gather proof of Homelander's crimes, while Vought paints him as a terrorist, and the world begins to split around them. The leak drops at dawn. News anchors play audio of terrified passengers begging Homelander to save them. They play the sound of his cold voice as he refuses. They play Maeve's choked protests. Then the screams as the plane goes down. Uncut video appears on underground channels. Someone has added Batman's symbol in the corner as a watermark. That was not his idea, but people latch onto it. Protests erupt in cities. Crowds wave signs. No more gods. Vought lied. Where were you, Homelander? Others wave blue flags with Homelander's face, shouting that the footage is fake. In one street, two groups clash. Police form a line, shaking. Nearby, a boy wears a homemade bat mask and holds a sign that says, "Protect us, don't sell us." Batman watches from a rooftop. His cape flutters. His chest feels heavy. This is what truth does, he says quietly. It does not make things simple. It makes fault lines visible. Starlight stands beside him, hood up. They're fighting each other, she says. Not Vought, not Homelander, just each other. Systems do not fall cleanly, Batman says. They thrash. People get hurt. Our job is to make sure the right things break. Far above, Homelander hovers in the bright morning sky. He watches two protest lines slam together. He could swoop down and break them apart. He does not. He turns to the nearest camera drone. They're scared, he says, eyes shining with fake sorrow. Scared because terrorists like Batman spread lies. That audio, deepfake, edited. Does it even sound like me? He laughs softly. The sound waves spread through every home in the city. But I forgive them, he says. They're just people. They need someone to believe in. That's me. I'm their only real safety. You know that. So I am asking Congress to give Supes the legal tools we need to keep this country safe. No more red tape. No more committees. Let us do our jobs. Ashley beams beside him, nodding too fast. Behind the scenes, Vaught's lobbyists flood Washington with offers and threats. Grace Mallory watches the speech on a tiny screen in the safe house. He wants emergency suit powers under Vought control, she says. Direct chain from the board to Homelander. No oversight. Can they push that through? Mother's Milk asks. They can try, Mallory says. Some senators hate Vought. Others love their money. This plane leak scares them. Scared politicians like strong men. They're going to hand him the keys, Butcher says, and then he won't even need to pretend. Batman studies the feed. He wants more than legal cover, he says. He wants a stage. We gave him one, Maeve says bitterly. We handed him the spotlight the second we leaked that tape. He'll use it to play the victim. Then we need a bigger stage, Batman says. One we pick, one he can't fully control. Homelander gets what he wants. Within days, Vought spins a Unity of Heroes rally. It will be held at Liberty Stadium, a huge open arena in the heart of the city. The Seven will appear together. Homelander will answer questions from selected media about the plane leak and the Batman threat. Ashley announces it on TV with a big smile. Tickets sell out in minutes. Millions more will watch live. From a dark corner of Vought Tower, A-Train listens to the announcement. His knee still aches from Batman's kick. He scrolls through footage of kids in the lab. He scrolls through angry posts from black fans calling him a sellout for working for Vought. He swallows hard. He hears Homelander's footsteps and quickly clicks back to a fake charity site. "You ready for the big show?" Homelander asks, clapping him on the shoulder. "We're going to prove to the whole world that we're the good guys." "Yeah," A-Train says. His voice is thin. "Sure." Homelander leans closer. His eyes glow faintly. "You're with me, right?" he whispers. "You're not doubting me, are you?" A-Train forces a grin. "Nah, man," he says. "We're family." Homelander smiles and squeezes his shoulder just a little too hard. "Good," he says, "because families stick together, or they break." He leaves. A-Train's knees almost give out. Later that night, A-Train waits in a shadowed train yard. He hears a scrape above him. Batman drops down from a freight car, cloaked in darkness. A-Train jumps, then curses. "You can't just sneak up on people like that, man," he says. "You wanted to talk," Batman says. A-Train looks around. He's terrified Homelander is watching. He keeps his voice low. "I watched that lab video," he says. "Kids, man. Kids on V. I didn't know. I mean, I knew Vought was dirty, but not like that." "You helped move the trucks," Batman says. "You pushed V into the streets." "I know," A-Train says. "I messed up, I know. But Homelander's gonna burn this whole place down if he gets more power. You think he's bad now? Wait till he knows nobody can tell him no." He licks his lips. "I can get you inside Liberty Stadium," he says. "There are service tunnels, blind spots in the security grid. I know them. You want a stage? That's it. That's where you hit him. But if he finds out I helped you..." He trails off. Fear fills the blank. Batman nods. "You know what he did on that plane," Batman says calmly. "You know what he will do if no one stops him. You have a choice." "You don't get it," A-Train says. "I can't just walk away. Vought owns my heart, man. Literally. They got a soup heart in here now. If I run, they flip a switch and boom." Batman files that away. Biotech control. A chain. "Then we break the switch," Batman says. "Can you?" A-Train asks. He's not mocking. He's desperate. "I don't promise what I can't do," Batman says. "But I will try. Help me with the stadium, and I will do everything I can to cut that leash." A-Train looks at his own hands. They shake a little. "Okay," he says. "Okay. I'm tired of running for them." The plan comes together in the safe house, spread across 3 tables. Batman's maps of Liberty Stadium, Mallory's list of politicians attending, Frenchie's sketches of bombs and jammers, Maeve's notes on Homelander's habits. "Homelander likes to make a grand entrance," Maeve says. "He'll come in last. He'll fly down to the stage from above, milk the cheers. He always needs to hear them." "We hijack the sound system," Frenchie says. "We blast the plane audio right as he lands. Let the whole world hear it straight from his mouth." "And you stand there," Butcher says to Batman, "front and center, looking like every nightmare he's ever had about someone else being the hero." Batman nods. "We use A-Train's tunnel route to get in," he says. "We plant sonic emitters around the stage, tuned to Homelander's hearing range. When I trigger them, they overload his senses. He won't be hurt, but he'll lose control of his flight and balance for a few seconds." "Long enough for what?" Mother's Milk asks. "For Maeve to hit him with this," Batman says. He opens a case. Inside lies a compact device with a thick needle and a glowing core of strange light. "Is that what I think it is?" Mallory asks. "Sample of anti-V-Tech from one of the black labs," Batman says. "Designed to collapse temporary V in human blood. I modified it. In theory, at high dose, it can scramble compound V stability in a soup. Not permanent, but enough to weaken him." "In theory," Butcher says. That's a lot of guesswork to bet the planet on, Bats. Batman meets his gaze. There are no perfect plans, he says. Only better odds. We trigger the audio, hit him with sound. Maeve injects him in close. Starlight floods the cameras with light and the truth. Frenchie locks the broadcast, and we let the world watch him stumble. And if it doesn't work, Kimiko signs, her eyes sharp. Frenchie translates softly. Then I take the hit, Batman says. I keep him busy long enough for the rest of you to escape and keep the story alive. Butcher shakes his head. You're mad, he says, but I like it. He fidgets with something in his pocket as he talks. A small vial of greenish liquid. Temporary V. He has not told the others he stole it from one of the labs. He has not told Batman at all. He plans to take it right before the rally, just in case. Mallory looks at the board. This is not just about the rally, she says. Vought is pushing a bill through Congress at the same time, using the broadcast to sell it, the Superhero Security Act. If it passes while Homelander stands tall, they win. If it passes while he's exposed, the whole thing may burn down. So we're fighting on two fronts, Mother's Milk says. Street and state. This is the convergence, Batman says. Politics, power, story, and blood all stacked on one moment. We don't get another like this. He feels the phase bridge hum in his chest like a dull ache. The device knows it too. It pings weakly, overclocked by this world's strange energy. After the stadium, Batman thinks, the core may fail. I might never see Gotham again. He does not say it. He tightens his gauntlets instead. Codex note. Wayne's phase bridge now runs on unstable compound V residue and local power grids, turning each major soup clash into both a data source and a stress spike on the device's failing core. On the day of the rally, the city feels like a held breath. Armored Vought trucks line the streets around Liberty Stadium. Drones patrol the air in tight circles. Fans in soup merch flood the sidewalks, chanting and singing. Some hold signs calling Batman a terrorist. Others secretly wear bat symbols under their jackets. Inside a dark service tunnel, Batman leads the mixed team toward the stadium's underbelly. He walks at the front. Maeve, Starlight, Butcher, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Kimiko, and A-Train follow. It is the strangest lineup he has ever led. This is their iconic team moment. A bat, broken heroes, angry humans, and one guilty speedster all walking toward the same fire. Last chance to run, Butcher says lightly. Anyone fancy a holiday instead? Nobody answers. They keep walking. A-Train points to a junction. This leads to the sound system room, he says. Security door, 2 guards max, because they think nothing important happens down here. Idiots. Frenchie, Kimiko, with me, Batman says. Butcher, Mother's Milk, guard this corridor. Maeve and Starlight, get to your stage spots. A-Train, you go back up and pretend you never saw us. A-Train shakes his head. If I leave now, I'll lose my nerve, he says. I'm staying till the sound system's yours. Then I'll run. Batman nods once. He recognizes courage when he sees it, even in a scared man. They split. In the sound room, 2 bored techs scroll through feeds. Frenchie pops the door with a small shaped charge that blows the lock without noise. Batman steps in, hurls a smoke pellet, and knocks both men out before they can shout. A-Train ties their hands. Frenchie plugs into the main board. Oh, she is wide open, he breathes. I can send anything anywhere. Give me the plain audio, the lab footage, all of it. Batman slots in a drive. Frenchie sets the cues. Plain audio timed to Homelander's entrance. Lab footage and black box logs as backup, distributed to every screen in the stadium and to hidden streams Mallory lined up. "Broadcast lock ready," Frenchie says. "But once we trigger it, Vought will try to cut us off. We play all our cards at once." "Starlight will handle the power," Batman says. "She'll light up every camera and blind any soup trying to fry the feeds. Get to your second position. Plant the sonic emitters." Frenchie and A-Train grab gear and move out. Batman stays just long enough to arm his remote trigger. Then he heads toward the stage. Above, Liberty Stadium roars. Music blasts. Crowds wave glow sticks. The stage is decorated with huge Vought logos and a 7-pointed star. Ashley stands at a podium, fake tears shining. "Today," she says, "we come together to say no to fear, no to lies, no to terrorists who want to tear down everything heroes have built." The 7 stand behind her. Homelander's spot is empty. He will arrive last. Maeve stands stiff in her armor. Starlight squints into the lights, forcing a smile. Deep in the stands, Butcher and Mother's Milk slip into VR staff vests and move toward a control booth. No one notices them. They look like tired security. Kimiko lurks near a support column under the stage, ready to help Maeve if Homelander lashes out. Frenchie hides behind a stack of spare speakers, hands on the sonic triggers. Batman slips into the shadows just under the main platform. He can feel Homelander somewhere above, moving closer. "Everyone in position," Mallory's voice says in his ear. "Congress is debating the act as we speak. They put the vote to line up with Homelander's speech. You have maybe 20 minutes before the bill passes." "Longer than I need," Batman says. Butcher's hand brushes the vial in his pocket. He thinks of Becca. He thinks of Ryan. He thinks of Homelander's smile as the plane fell. Batman's plan might weaken the bastard, he thinks, but it won't finish him. He steps into an empty utility room, pops the cap, and downs the temp Vi. It hits like fire. His veins glow faint blue under his skin. His senses sharpen. Sound and light spike. He grips the wall, breathing hard. "Just for today," he whispers. "Just to do what the Bat won't." Up in the sky, Homelander rises above the stadium, bathed in spotlights. The crowd explodes. People scream his name. Flags wave. He spreads his arms and basks in it. This is his church. Then he dives. He streaks down toward the stage, cape flaring. Cameras follow him from every angle. "Now," Batman says. Frenchie slams the trigger. Starlight inhales and pulls every watt she can from the stadium lights. The plane audio slams through the speakers. "Homelander, please, my daughter." "Listen, there's nothing I can do. The plane is going down. End of story." The stadium goes dead silent. Homelander hits the sonic field just as the first screams on the tape start. The emitters around the stage blast a focused wave at his ears and inner ear. His flight wobbles. He stumbles in midair and crashes onto the stage, falling to one knee. The crowd gasps. Screens all over the stadium show the footage of him letting the plane fall. They show his face, cold and bored. They show Maeve's terror. People scream, some cry, some look away. Homelander's eyes go wide. For a second, he looks lost, like a child caught breaking something. Then his face twists. He stands, fighting the sound. "Maeve," Batman says into his comm. "Now." Maeve moves. She steps toward Homelander as if going to comfort him. Her hand hides the injector. "Hey," she says softly, for the cameras. "Hey, it's okay, Homelander. We'll spin this." She jabs the device into his side and hits the trigger. The anti-V charge fires into his body. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then Homelander staggers. His pupils dilate. His skin flushes. His strength flickers. He feels, for the first time since he was a boy, something like weakness. "What did you do?" he whispers. Maeve does not get to answer. The sonic field overloads and blows 3 speakers. Frenchie curses as panels spark. Homelander roars. "Batman!" he screams. He blasts the stage floor with heat vision. Steel melts. Concrete explodes. Batman throws himself sideways as a beam slices through the floor where he stood. Heat washes over his armor. Warning lights flare. He rolls, comes up on a broken segment of stage, and finally stands face to face with Homelander in front of tens of thousands of people. The crowd goes wild, some in fear, some in awe. Batman stares up at Homelander, cape torn, lenses cracked. This is their first full open face-off. "Turn yourself in," Batman says through his cowl speaker. His voice echoes over the field. "Answer for the plane. Answer for the labs. No more lies." Homelander laughs, harsh and shaky. "You think this is a comic book?" he spits. "You think I'm going to walk into a cell because some freak in a mask told me to? These are my people." He gestures to the crowd. "They love me," he yells. "I am the only thing standing between them and chaos." People in the stands shout back. Some yell that Batman is right. Others scream that Homelander is their hero. The world splits in real time. Batman steps forward. "You're not standing between them and chaos," he says. "You are the chaos. Look at them. They're not safe because of you. They're afraid of you. You just call it love so you can sleep at night." Homelander's hand shakes. His eyes flick to the nearest screen, which still shows his plane failure. The anti-V charge gnaws at his cells, making his vision blur for seconds at a time. He raises his hand. "You think you can talk to me like that," he says, "and walk away?" He fires heat vision. Batman dives again, but this time he runs toward Homelander, not away. He throws a panel up. It is lined with reflective bat tech. The beam hits it and scatters, burning into the empty stands instead of the crowd. Homelander blinks. He did not expect that. Batman closes the distance, grapnel line firing. He swings around Homelander, wrapping the cable around the soup's arms and chest. He hits a switch. High voltage current surges through the line. Not enough to kill, enough to shock every nerve. Homelander screams, not in pain he cannot handle, but in surprise at feeling anything at all. He yanks, breaks the line, and throws Batman across the stage. Batman slams into a support beam. His ribs crack. His HUD goes fuzzy. But the crowd saw it. They saw Homelander stagger. They saw Batman's small body slam him, even for a second. The spell breaks for some of them. In the stands, a young woman drops her Homelander flag and starts to chant, "Batman! Batman!" Others join. Others scream insults at them. The stadium becomes a storm. Security rushes the field. Vought backup soups move in. Kimiko leaps from the shadows and takes one down with a flying kick. Mother's Milk and Butcher fight off guards near the control booth. Starlight stands center stage, arms wide, light pouring from her hands. She blinds cameras trying to cut the feed. She forces the plain audio back on every time Vought tries to override it. Maeve stands between Homelander and the nearest section of seats, shield raised. "This isn't about you anymore," she says. "This is about what's left after you." Homelander looks at them all, at the crowd, at the chaos. He feels something deep inside his cells crack. He screams and blasts straight up, punching a hole in the stadium roof. He needs air. He needs space. He needs control. Batman pulls himself up, breathing hard. "Follow," he says. He fires a grapnel, swings after Homelander, and bursts into the open sky above the stadium. Clouds roil, sirens howl below. The phase bridge in his belt pulses wildly, reacting to the surge of compound V energy. It picks up waves across dimensions. Batman suddenly sees two images at once. Homelander in this sky, and Gotham's skyline flickering behind him like a ghost. He sees, just for a second, what would happen if Homelander ever crossed into his world. Cities burning, people turned into meat. The vision fades. He hangs from his line, facing Homelander in the darkening sky. "This ends now," Batman says. "Yeah," Homelander snarls. "It does." Below them, in the city, something else shifts. Congress, spooked by the footage playing everywhere, stalls the vote. Some senators break with Vought. Others double down, calling for Batman's head. No one controls the narrative now. The world has broken into pieces. Codex note: the combination of leaked evidence, stadium clash, and mass broadcast breaks Vaught's monopoly on the hero story, turning Homelander from untouchable symbol into a contested figure whose power now depends on winning open loyalty instead of automatic worship. Up to now, Batman and his unlikely allies have hijacked Liberty Stadium, exposed Homelander's playing crime to the world, and struck him in front of his own crowd, pushing him into a fury and shattering Vaught's clean story, but leaving the world split, the law in chaos, and a direct Batman-Homelander war hanging in the sky. Night falls faster than it should. Storm clouds gather over the city, drawn by the heat of riots, fires, and soups in flight. Rain starts to fall in sheets. Batman swings from building to building, tracking Homelander's red streak through the clouds. His ribs hurt with every breath. The phase bridge buzzes like an angry hornet. Homelander finally lands on the roof of a major news tower, panting. He grips the edge of a satellite dish and bends it without trying. "Get out here," he screams at the empty air. "Show yourself, you freak." Batman lands on a nearby ledge, wet cape clinging to his armor. "I am here," he says. Homelander spins, eyes blazing. "There," he says. "The man of the hour. Did you like your big scene? Enjoy embarrassing me in front of my people?" "This isn't about you," Batman says. "It's about them. The ones you left to die. The ones in the labs. The ones in the crowd. Today who were more afraid of you than of me." Homelander flies forward and grabs Batman by the throat. He lifts him off the ground. "You don't get it," Homelander growls. "I am the only thing keeping this place from falling apart. You think you can just drop in from your little cartoon world and play judge? You have no idea what happens when people stop believing in something strong." Batman claws at his hand, not to free himself, but to plant a small device on Homelander's wrist. It hums softly. Homelander squeezes. Armor plates creak. Batman's vision darkens at the edges. "If you kill me here on camera," Batman rasps, "you prove everything we showed is true." Homelander glances at a nearby drone. It is filming. Of course it is. Everything he does is content. His hand loosens. He drops Batman instead of snapping his neck. Batman hits the roof hard, coughing. "You don't decide when this ends," Homelander says. "I do, and I want everyone to watch." He points to the glowing city. "You like stages, Batman?" he says. "Fine. Here's your stage. We finish this on my terms." He zooms away into the night. Batman sits up slowly. He feels the small device on Homelander's wrist ping back. A tracer. He can track him anywhere now. "Your terms," Batman murmurs, "are also your trap." He stands, sways, and steadies himself. Below, the city screams. Protests turn into full riots. Soup fans clash with anti-soup mobs. Police are caught in between. Vought security moves onto the streets, armored and smug. The world is fracturing, just as the story's rules said it would. Batman drops back into the safe house hours later, soaked and exhausted. The boys, Maeve, Starlight and Mallory are already there. Bandages, bruises, blood. Butcher leans against a wall, eyes still faintly glowing from Temp V. He looks both strong and sick. "You look like crap," he says to Batman. "Stadium went about as well as any of my weddings." "We hit him," Batman says. "Not enough, but we showed people." "We also lit the fuse on the biggest superpowered civil war this world has ever seen," Mother's Milk says. "Cities are burning. Cops are panicking. Vort's private army is out in full force." Mallory throws a stack of papers down. "Congress killed the act," she says. "They couldn't risk backing Homelander with that video playing in every bar. Vort is furious. They're talking about pulling out of public hero work. That means they go underground. No oversight at all." "So either way, we get a horror show," Butcher says. "Open fascist capes or hidden fascist capes." Starlight rubs her temples. "We made them bleed," she says. "But they're not dead, and now everyone is watching us too. People are calling me a traitor. Some are calling me a hero. I don't know which is worse." Maeve takes a drink from her bottle. "Welcome to the real fight," she says. "No clean wins, just choices." Batman looks at the map on the wall. New red pins mark riot zones. Blue pins mark hospitals and shelters. A few black pins mark Vort strongholds, pulling back into fortified blocks. "This is more than just politics now," Batman says. "Homelander knows he's losing control of the story. He will try to seize it back with something big. A show of force. A threat so large people will beg him to take power." "What? Like blowing up a city?" Butcher asks. "He's petty, but he's not stupid. That'd turn everyone on him." "Not if he blames it on us," Mallory says quietly. "On Batman, on the boys, on terrorists." The room goes still. Batman feels the phase bridge pulse again. This time the hum is wrong. Too high, too strained. He steps aside and opens a hidden panel in his belt. The small device inside flickers blue and white. A holographic display pops up. It shows a map of quantum signatures. His Earth, this Earth, and a growing storm between them. The storm pulses in time with Homelander's recent power surges. When Homelander pushes his power to certain levels, the Compound 5 energy spikes across dimensions, Batman says. "This bridge was not just a door, it's a sensor. It shows me when reality gets thin." "And it's getting thin now," Maeve says, "because of him." "Because of all of this," Batman says. "The labs, the rallies, the stadium. We've turned this world into a tuning fork. If he pushes hard enough, he could tear a hole and drag other worlds into this mess. Mine, others. I don't know how many." "Brilliant," Butcher mutters. "So if we kill him, we risk a hole. If we let him loose, he risks ripping a bigger hole." "Not quite," Batman says. The bridge shows another pattern. Controlled release. If we can channel his power at the right moment into a stable gate, we can bleed off the excess safely, maybe even send him somewhere he can't hurt anyone. "You're talking about using him as a battery," Frenchie says. "I'm talking about using what I brought here to plug a leak I caused," Batman says. "If I had not built the bridge, he might never have learned how to shake it." Mallory looks tired. "So what's your move?" she asks. "Because I promise you, he's planning his." Homelander is planning. In a secret Vort bunker, he stands before a wall of screens showing burning streets. Ashley, shaking, reads from a tablet. "Public trust down 20%, she says. "Sympathy for victims up 15%. Congress approval of the act below 40. Our Q scores are..." Homelander crushes the edge of the table. "Ashley, he says softly. If you say Q scores one more time while this world calls me a murderer, I will remove your jaw. Ashley squeaks and shuts her mouth. Black Noir sits in a corner, silent and motionless. He is a shadow, watching. Soldier Boy leans against the wall, smoking. So the kid finally got punched in the face, Soldier Boy says. Big deal. You take a hit, you hit back harder. Homelander's eyes flash. I'm not the kid, he snaps. I am the brand. I am the only hero left that matters. Then start acting like it, Soldier Boy says. Stop crying about some bat freak and make an example. Homelander paces. I will, he says. I just need the right stage. Ashley, desperate to say something useful, blurts it out. There's the emergency alert system, she says. National. Vought helped design the new drone network for it. Remember, disaster response. It's tied to our soup tracking grid. If we repurpose it, you could, appear everywhere at once. Take charge. Homelander stops. He smiles slowly. Go on, he says. Ashley swallows. We flip the system, she says. We tell the public there's a soup terror attack led by Batman. We declare a full-scale emergency. We activate the drones and satellite-linked speakers in every major city. You give one speech, one message, everywhere, no filters. People will have to listen. And if anyone tries to cut the signal, we fry them. Homelander's smile widens. That's it, he says. Their fear, my voice, no one else's. He points at Soldier Boy. And if Batman shows his face during my little talk, he says, you blast him. Full power. I want him off this planet. I don't care where he goes. Soldier Boy smirks. With pleasure, he says. Ashley adds weakly, and we could time it with the next Congress session. Force them to choose between backing you or looking weak. Homelander pats her head a little too hard. See, you can be useful, he says. In the safe house, Mallory gets a ping on her system. Vought just moved assets to the National Emergency Grid Hub, she says. Deep in their main tower, they're tying their soup tracking to the federal alert system. If they flip that switch, Homelander speaks straight into every ear in the country. Batman stares at the hologram in his hand. This is it, he says. The convergence event. Not the stadium. This. You mean we've got to break into Vaught's main tower, shut down their new death grid, fight Homelander and Soldier Boy, and keep the world from ripping apart, Butcher says. He grins. Busy night. We go in before they trigger it, Batman says. We take the hub. We rewrite the message. If we're lucky, we use their own system to lock them out and force them to stand down. And if we're not lucky, Maeve asks. Batman looks at the phase bridge. Then we open a gate with Homelander's blast and pray I can steer it, he says. Either way, we move before dawn. Preparations begin. Travel and planning scenes blur together in tired, tense hours. Batman rides in the back of a stolen Vought van with Maeve and Starlight. Rain drums on the roof. The city's lights smear on wet windows. Maeve watches Batman adjust the phase bridge. You always take this much weight on yourself? She asks. Whole worlds on your shoulders. It's not about me, Batman says. It's about what happens if I look away. That's not what I asked, Maeve says. He tightens a clamp. When I was a boy, my parents were killed in front of me, he says. On a street that should have been safe. I swore it would not happen to anyone else if I could stop it. That vow does not end at my world's edge. Maeve snorts softly. Still a little kid with a promise, she says. Me, I drank mine away. Gave Vought the strings. Maybe you're smarter than me. Or just more stubborn. Starlight leans forward. "What does saving the world mean to you now?" she asks Batman. "This place is a mess. Even if we beat Homelander, Vought will still exist. People will still want someone to worship. What's a win look like to you?" Batman thinks. "Saving the world does not mean fixing every heart," he says. "It means drawing a line and saying, no one crosses this. No more secret labs. No more gods with no chains. No more lies big enough to crush children. If we can make those lines real, even for a while, that is a win." Starlight looks out at the dark city. "I can live with that," she says quietly. In another vehicle, the boys sit with gear piled around them. Mother's Milk checks weapons that stop short of lethal. He has listened to Batman more than he expected. Frenchie strokes a homemade EMP pack like a pet. Kimiko sharpens a small blade, even though her fists are enough. Butcher sits apart. Temp V still hums in his veins. It makes him feel strong, but his head pounds. His nose has bled twice, and he wiped it away before anyone saw. "You all right?" Mother's Milk asks. "Never better," Butcher lies. "Tonight we finally put that cape-wearing psycho in the ground. Worth a little headache." "You remember what Batman said," Mother's Milk says. "If we turn this into a slaughter, we lose any chance of holding the world together after." "Batman's got his rules," Butcher says. "I've got mine." He looks at the picture of Becca on his phone one more time. Then he turns it off. At Vought Tower's base, they regroup in a shadowed alley. The building rises over them like a glass spear. Armed guards move in patterns Batman has already mapped. "This is Vaught's heart," Mallory says in their ears. "The emergency grid hub is on sub-level 6, under the main data center. Heavy security. External access only through service shafts and a freight elevator. Internal alerts will cascade to Homelander the second you trip them." "We don't trip them," Batman says. "Not at first." They move. A mixed team once more. Batman, Butcher, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Kimiko, Maeve, Starlight, and A-Train. A-Train guides them to a staff entrance used by runners and catering crews. He flashes a stolen badge. The scanner beeps green. "Last favor," A-Train mutters. "After this, I'm out, one way or another." Inside the tower is all white halls and smiling posters. "Heroes keep you safe." Powered by Vought. Batman places tiny jammers at each camera. They feed loops of harmless footage. Guards see nothing. They slip into a freight elevator and ride down. On sub-level 6, the doors open on a wide room full of humming machines and glowing cables. At the center stands a tall column of servers wrapped in a ring of strange hardware. The emergency grid hub, and between the elevator and the hub stands Black Noir. He stares at them through his black mask. He draws 2 blades. Butcher grins. "Ah," he says, "the quiet one." Batman steps forward. "I'll handle him," he says. "Stay on the hub." Noir moves first. He's fast. His strikes are clean and cruel. Batman blocks, parries and redirects, using every trick he has learned from a lifetime of fighting killers. His cracked ribs scream. His breath is tight. They trade blows across the floor. Silent, precise. Behind them, Frenchie and Mother's Milk reach the hub. Frenchie connects his EMP pack. "This will fry the drone's control without killing the whole building," he says. "Maybe. Probably." "Do it," Mallory says. Maeve and Starlight guard them. Kimiko watches Batman and Noir, ready to dive in if he falls. Butcher hangs back, feeling the temp vive burn hotter. He hates standing still. He wants to carve through Vaught's heart himself. Black Noir feints low, then cuts at Batman's head. Batman ducks, sweeps his legs and slams a gauntlet into Noir's chest. He feels armor under his fist. He remembers Maeve telling him Noir is not just a mute ninja. He is Vaught's shadow, their clean-up man. Batman pulls a small charge from his belt and slaps it onto Noir's chest plate. It detonates in a focused blast, knocking Noir back into a column. His blades clatter. Kimiko rushes in, kicks Noir's arm, and sends another blade flying. They pin him together. Batman uses a carbon cable to bind his limbs. Noir struggles, but the blast rattled him. He slows. Not dead, Batman says, just out of the way. Frenchie hits his EMP trigger. The hub's lights flicker. A deep hum dies. On the surface, Vought drones circling the city suddenly freeze. Their lights go dark. They drop a few feet, then stabilize on backup power, dumb and blind. Mallory watches on her screens. "Good work," she says. "You just cut Homelander off from his new toy. He's going to be furious." As if summoned by her words, the whole building shakes. An impact hits the upper floors. Homelander has arrived. Power scaling interlude 2. Extract from Batman's internal mission log recorded through the cowl. Current status, suit integrity at 50%. Ribs cracked. Phase bridge core at 25% capacity. One more controlled jump possible. But any extra surge risks catastrophic failure and uncontrolled rift formation. Homelander's power is partially destabilized by anti-V, but he still outclasses me in raw strength, speed, and durability by several orders of magnitude. My remaining advantages are preparation, allies, sonic and EMP tech that can disrupt his senses, and his need for public love, which limits how openly he can unleash full power near large crowds. If I push past the bridge's limits to channel or redirect his next major blast, I may save this world and my own at the cost of my mind, my life, or my ability to ever return home. Decision point approaching. The elevator doors explode inward in a shower of metal. Soldier Boy steps out first, chest glowing faint green. Homelander floats behind him, eyes hot. They see the tied-up Black Noir. They see the flickering hub. They see Batman and the others. Homelander smiles, but it is not his TV smile. It is a sharp thing. "Here you are," he says, "the little terrorist club." Butcher steps forward, power humming under his skin. "Evening, wanker," he says. Homelander's gaze flicks over him, then locks back on Batman. "You just couldn't leave it alone," he says. "You had to come into my house, touch my things." "This thing is a control grid for an illegal mind speech weapon," Batman says. "You wanted to turn fear into chains." "It's called leadership," Homelander says. "You wouldn't understand. All you know how to do is hit criminals and brood." Soldier Boy cracks his neck. "Enough talk," he says. "This one's mine." He raises his arms. Energy builds in his chest. Batman feels the phase bridge react, sensing the coming blast. It whines. This is the core, he thinks. This is what can tear the hole, or seal it. He looks at his team. "Starlight, Maeve, keep Homelander busy," he says. "Frenchie, Mother's Milk, protect the hub. Kimiko, keep Soldier Boy's aim off civilians. Butcher is already moving. He launches himself at Homelander with temp V strength, slamming into him mid-air. They crash into a wall. "Billy!" Mother's Milk shouts. Homelander is shocked again. How many humans will hit him today? He snarls and hurls Butcher across the room. Butcher smashes through consoles and stands back up, bleeding but grinning. "Feels good to look you in the eye, you Nazi Barbie," he says. Starlight blasts Homelander with light at the same time. Maeve tackles him low. Homelander staggers. For a moment, they stack their hits well. Soldier Boy laughs. "You kids have fun," he says. "I've got my own party." He turns toward the hub. His chest glows brighter. Batman sees where this is going. "Kimiko," he yells. She races towards Soldier Boy as he unleashes his blast. She hits him just enough to knock his aim a few degrees up. The blast still hits the hub. Energy floods the systems. Screens shatter, machines melt. Electric arcs dance across cables. The phase bridge screams. Batman's belt opens on its own. The device floats up, pulled by the charge. A blue-white light sphere blooms in the middle of the room. Everyone stops for a second. "What the hell is that?" Soldier Boy says. "That," Batman says, "is the hole I warned you about." The sphere pulses. Images flash in its surface. Gotham, another Earth skyline, a desert full of dead cities. Reality itself flickers. An alarm on the tower's upper levels blares. Mallory's voice is sharp in their ears. "Energy spike off the charts," she says. "You've triggered some kind of dimensional event. Batman, can you control it?" "Not yet," Batman says. Homelander shoves Maeve and Starlight away and stares at the sphere. "What is that?" he asks, voice tight. "That's the universe showing you there are things bigger than your ego," Batman says. "And it's about to break this world if we don't guide it." Homelander laughs, half panicked. "I can handle anything," he says. "I'm Homelander." He flies toward the sphere. "Stop," Batman yells. If Homelander hits it full force without guidance, the rupture could widen and spin out of control. Batman runs. He fires a grapnel into a ceiling beam, uses it to swing, and slams into Homelander just before he reaches the light. They both hit the edge of the sphere. Energy arcs through them. Batman feels every nerve catch fire. He sees 1,000 possible futures in a blink. One where he let Homelander win, and this world became a boot on the neck of all others. One where he killed Homelander and set a pattern that other worlds followed. One where he did neither and watched the multiverse tear anyway. He grits his teeth. No, he thinks, not like this. He reaches for the control node still linked from his belt to the phase bridge. He can steer this maybe, but only if he makes one choice now. Soldier Boy charges another blast, thinking this will finish Batman and Homelander together. Butcher, seeing that, dives at him with all his borrowed strength. They crash into the floor. Soldier Boy's aim moves again. The second blast hits the sphere from a different angle. The light flares. A countdown appears across Batman's HUD. An estimate of stable portal time before uncontrolled rupture. Less than 5 minutes. Mallory whispers, "Whatever you're going to do it now." The convergence event has started. The process is running. It cannot be simply turned off anymore. The light from the sphere grows until it hurts to look at. The whole room pulses with it. Dust floats up as gravity flickers. Batman feels his boots slide on the floor. His line jerks. Homelander's grip on him slips and tightens over and over like the world is stuttering. Soldier Boy stares at the sphere. "That doesn't look good," he says. Energy surges through the hub, up the tower, and out into the sky. Windows crack up and down Vault Tower. Outside, clouds twist into a spiral over the city. Mallory's voice shakes in Batman's ear. "Citywide power spikes," she says. "Strange readings all over. Whatever that thing is, it's not staying quiet." Batman's HUD timer ticks down. 4 minutes. Then maybe there is no more steering, just braking. He pulls free of Homelander's dazed grip and hits the floor on one knee. "You did this," Homelander says, pointing at the sphere. "You brought this freak show here." "Yes," Batman says, "and I'm going to fix it, with or without you." Homelander laughs. "You," he says, "you can't even fly." He lifts off the floor again, drawn toward the light like a magnet. Batman checks the phase bridge controls in his gauntlet. The interface is damaged, but one option still works: anchor and redirect. He can bind the breach to something, someone. Use it as a drain to bleed off the wild energy into a closed loop. That something has to be inside the field when it locks. Once locked, no one goes in or out. Homelander feels the pull and fights it. "What happens if I go in there?" he asks, half to Batman, half to himself. "You lose control," Batman says. "You stop being the center of your own story." Homelander snarls. "Not happening," he says. The sphere swells. Images in its surface sharpen. Gotham at night. Lights like cold stars. Another city filled with strange towers. Endless dark. The floor tilts. Frenchie grabs onto a console. Mother's Milk braces his feet. Kimiko digs her fingers into a crack in the floor. Maeve and Starlight stand back to back, eyes on Homelander and Soldier Boy, ready for both. Butcher sways, Temp V howling in his blood. He feels like he could jump into the sphere and punch another world. "Billy," Mother's Milk yells, "we need you on this side, man." Butcher's jaw clenches. He hears Becca's voice in his memory. He remembers Ryan's scared eyes. He looks at Homelander, glowing in the weird light. Every part of him wants to rip that man apart. Batman sees the look. "Don't," Batman says. "Why not?" Butcher shouts back. "You said we don't kill because it makes us them. He already is them. There's no him left to save." Batman's voice stays steady, even now. "If you kill him in anger in front of this," Batman says, nodding at the sphere, "you teach this world that the only answer to monsters is bigger monsters. That pattern spreads to other worlds, to kids watching. It never stops. But if we don't," Butcher says, "he keeps killing." "No," Batman says. "We're going to take the choice away from him, for good, without giving him a martyr's death." Butcher squeezes his fists. Veins glow under his skin. His nose starts to bleed again. He looks at Homelander, then at Batman. "You better be right, Sunshine," he says, "because if he ever gets out again, I'll come find you in whatever universe you're in and break your teeth." Batman nods once. He accepts that. Homelander tries to blast the sphere with heat vision. The beams bend into the light and vanish. He feels something tug at the core of him. His powers do not answer him the same way. "Stop it," he screams. "I am in charge." He turns his rage on Batman. "You did this," he shouts. "You broke my world. You broke my life." Batman stands, legs shaking. "It was already broken," he says. "I just took away the pretty paint." Homelander charges. He slams into Batman and drives him toward the edge of the sphere. Their bodies push against the boundary. Energy crackles around them. Batman's armor heats. His systems scream. The phase bridge pulses brighter. "Bruce," a voice like Alfred says in his head, "it will kill you." He ignores it. He locks his gauntlets around Homelander's wrists. "You want to be the only one," Batman says. "Fine. You get your own world." Homelander frowns, confused. "What?" he says. Batman hits the last command on the phase bridge. "Anchor, subject Homelander," he mutters. "Guide, Wayne. Destination, sealed pocket between my world and his. Lock." The bridge accepts. His HUD shows the cost. Last jump burned. User nervous system at risk. No guarantee of return. He does it anyway. The sphere collapses inward for a second, then explodes outward in silent light. Batman and Homelander vanish into it. The room shakes like an earthquake. Soldier Boy, caught by the edge of the surge, is thrown backward into the elevator shaft. He disappears in a cloud of dust. Frenchie screams, "Batman!" Starlight reaches toward the light. but it's gone before she can touch it. Maeve shields her eyes. Kimiko bites her lip hard enough to draw blood. The light shrinks to a thin column linking the hub to the sky. Then it breaks. A shockwave rushes out through the tower and the city. It knocks people off their feet, but does not flatten buildings. Outside, the spiral clouds slowly unwind. Strange images in the sky fade. In the hub room, dust settles. Batman is gone. Homelander is gone. The sphere is gone. Only the burned-out husk of the phase bridge lies on the floor, cracked and smoking. Silence. Then alarms. Every alarm in the building goes off at once. Energy levels dropping, Mallory says over comms, voice thin with shock. Dimensional readings are normalizing. We've lost both signals. Batman and Homelander are not on this earth anymore. Butcher staggers. The temp 5 in his blood flares once, then fades to a dull ache. His head feels like it's splitting. So that's it, he says. He took the bastard with him. Out there. Somewhere. Maeve stares at the spot where they vanished. He stayed, she says quietly. He had a way home, and he stayed between worlds to lock Homelander away. Starlight wipes tears off her cheeks. It's what he does, she says. He stands between people and the worst thing on the horizon, even when the horizon is reality itself. Mother's Milk kneels by the burned-out phase bridge. Can you use that to bring him back? Butcher asks. Frenchie shakes his head. Non, he says. It is done, melted. Even if I could fix the shell, soul of the machine is gone. Kimiko picks up a small, charred, bat-shaped piece from the floor and closes her hand around it. Outside Vought Tower, people pour into the streets. They felt the shockwave. They saw the sky tear and mend. They saw the stadium fight replayed 1,000 times. Now news drones pick up the report. Homelander's energy signature is gone. Vought leaks that he sacrificed himself to stop Batman's dimensional attack. But independent feeds tell a different story. They show Batman standing in front of the hub. They show him grappling Homelander. They show the two of them vanishing into the light together. There is no neat spin, only confusion, fear, and something like rough hope. In Congress, the Superhero Security Act is dragged out of debate and thrown in the trash. No one wants to be the senator who gave Homelander absolute power 2 days after he vanished in a dimensional blast. Instead, a new set of hearings begins. Grace Mallory sits at one table, files in front of her, scars on display. She gives testimony on Vought Labs, the plane, the stadium, the tower. Starlight sits beside her in a simple suit, not her costume. She talks about contracts, cover-ups, fake rescues. Mother's Milk and Frenchie submit technical evidence. A-Train sends in a sworn statement on his role in V shipments. Maeve is missing, officially dead from the stadium clash. In truth, she recovers quietly in a safe house far from cameras. Butcher does not testify. He would rather bite off his own tongue. He works in the shadows instead, making sure Vought rats do not slip away. The hearings create a new body, an independent super oversight authority. It will never be perfect, but it is not owned by Vought. Mallory helps design its rules. Starlight becomes one of its loudest public advocates, even when it restricts her own work. Weeks pass. Vought sues everyone. Then, slowly, Vought starts to sell off pieces of itself. Their soup division becomes smaller and smaller. Other companies eye the market, but there is now a wall of law between them and absolute power. Soldier Boy is found days later, buried in rubble under the tower. He is furious and half mad. The new authority takes custody of him. Kimiko and Frenchie watch from a distance as he is loaded into a reinforced transport. Do you feel bad for him? Frenchie asks. Kimiko shakes her head. She signs, he wanted to burn the world. He can sit in a box and think about that. Mother's Milk nods in agreement. A-Train gets his heart device removed under authority supervision. He lives, slower now, no longer the fastest man alive. He visits hospitals and neighborhoods he ignored before. Some people forgive him. Some do not. He does the work anyway. Queen Maeve, living under a fake name in a small town, teaches kids how to fence and drink cheap wine. At night, she checks news about soups and smiles when she hears about smaller, safer rescues. Starlight forms a new team of soups who agree to work under the authorities' rules. No private deals, no secret labs. Camera feeds go up in their HQ, showing everything they do. People are slow to trust, but some kids start wearing little gold star pins next to crude bat symbols. The boys keep doing what they do, only with slightly more backup and slightly fewer explosives. They hit rogue labs, black market V dealers, and corrupt soup ops. Butcher throws away the last vial of temp V he kept hidden. He knows it is killing him. He has headaches and vision flashes that won't go away. He remembers Batman's words, "We don't become them." So he tries very hard not to. Sometimes he fails and hits too hard. Sometimes he catches himself in time. Mother's Milk watches him with worried eyes. "You're going to die young if you don't slow down," he says. "Never planned to retire," Butcher answers. "But I can at least try not to take the whole world with me." In the months after the tower event, sightings start. At first, they are just stories. A group of protesters in one city swears they saw a dark shape on a rooftop, watching a Vought convoy turn away from a children's wing. A corrupt soup with heat powers turns up webbed to a lamppost with his hands broken and a note taped to his chest. No more labs. Security footage of a hostage situation shows, for one frame, a black cape in a reflection. The hostages live. The authority assigns a code name to the unknown actor, the Bat. Starlight sees one of the clips and smiles through sudden tears. "He found a way back," she says. Mallory shrugs. "Or something of him did," she says. "Maybe the bridge didn't kill him. Maybe it changed him, left him between." "Is that better?" Starlight asks. Mallory looks out the window. "It's what he chose," she says. "That's what matters." Epilogue. 1 year later, the city feels different. There are still soups. There are still bad ones. There are still greedy people in suits pulling strings. But there are also rules now. Cameras, trials, records. Vought Tower has a new name. The top floors are empty, still scorched from the blast. The lower floors host authority offices and public hearings. On a quiet night, rain falls over the city again. A young boy walks home from a late shift at a diner. He wears a cheap plastic mask shaped like Homelander's old face, but it hangs around his neck now, unused. Above him, on a rooftop, something moves. He glances up. For a second, he sees a dark figure against the sky. Pointed ears, long cape, white eyes. The figure looks down at him. The boy freezes. He remembers the videos, the news, the arguments at school. He does not know if the Bat is a hero or a menace, but he knows this. When the Bat is up there, Homelander is not. He lifts a hand and waves, small and shy. On the roof, the dark figure nods once and steps back into shadow. The boy feels his chest loosen. He puts his hood up and walks faster, not from fear, but because he wants to get home and tell his little sister that he saw something real. In another reality, somewhere between worlds, two shapes drift in a sealed space made of light and memory. One rages against walls that will not break. The other watches, tired but steady. Batman does not know how long this place will hold. He does not know if he will ever walk under Gotham's sky again. He only knows that as long as Homelander is here, he cannot hurt anyone else. That is enough. Somewhere far away, on the broken skin between worlds, a faint bat symbol burns in code, law, and rumor. People argue about what it means, but some sleep easier because of it. Codex note. In post-Homelander legal doctrine, Batman conditions describe any system where power must answer to visible rules, shared evidence, and someone willing to stand between the world and the worst thing it has made, even at the cost of their own way home.